time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, he says, all who spend in good cause. Good deeds are opportunities, sparkling bright and true, raising you in the sight of Allah, and adorning al-Jannah for you. So rush to earn his reward, don't forget the oppressed, and when you go to sleep.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam rasulullah. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Gabriel Al-Romaani, and you are watching A Time to Please Allah on Huda TV, live from Dubai every Thursday, alhamdulillah. And we hope that you had a very productive week, and we hope that you are always making a time to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can every day, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can, to try to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can, and try to lead our lives as much as we can in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we remind this is a live show, which means you can participate in it. You can give us a call and help us and give us suggestions and try to contribute to the show. Bi'idhnillah, the number is on the screen, and we open up the lines bi'idhnillah. And you can also, if you missed some of the shows, check out our YouTube. Just type in on the YouTube search A Time to Please Allah, and you will see the shows by date. You can catch up with what you have missed. A lot of topics, a lot of beautiful ideas that have come through, mashallah, the show. And I believe now we're pushing a year and a half, almost 2 years of streaming live, alhamdulillah, for Huda TV, which is a great thing. When we started, alhamdulillah, it was kind of like just a project, but now it's become a regular thing of Thursday night Huda TV, broadcasting to millions of people around the world, actually, especially in the Middle East, Africa. We have a big following from Africa, mashallah, especially Nigeria. May Allah bless our Nigerian brothers and sisters. And we're hoping to reach as many people as we can. Alhamdulillah, it's also pushing now the streaming and the signals going to the United States, into Europe, mashallah. So more and more people are watching Huda TV, and we're trying to bring that light, inshallah, into every home. And today, bi'idhnillah, following with cool topics and nice, things to talk about, we will talk, inshallah, about the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ. And with me in the studio, I have my dear, respected Sheikh and brother, Sheikh Abdul Basit. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you tonight?
Alhamdulillah, fine.
Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair for coming. And Sheikh, we want to, of course, the Sahaba is such a broad topic. There are so many things to be discussed. But, we talked about role models in a lot of the past shows. I think we've touched that topic a lot. We want to, inshallah, tonight get a bit more specific and try to bring some of the examples, some of the names to life, specifically when it comes to things such as courage, balance, leadership, some of the skills that are so important in the 21st century on a personal level, on a professional level, on a family level. You might want to bring it out. So we want to pick some stars from the stars of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, and those were his Sahabas, and try to give some examples and some to relate back to our viewers, the youth. And we also encourage you to kind of call us and give us some of the stars that you think, and with some specific examples of some of these skills, leadership skills, that are very important in today's life. So let us start, inshallah, with just to lay out the show. Today, when we look at the world, at development, a lot of people, when it comes to specifically leadership, business, administration, people have a lot of skills that they identify. When I was studying in the university, I found that a lot of the things, the topics that were brought in different subjects, different fields, were things that I would see in the life of the Sahaba or the Seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Today they're theories, they're considered new discoveries, yet those same topics were present and exemplified at the time of the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba. So if we were to ask, what is the most important skill in the 21st century for a person, in this ummah, be it on professional, personal level, what would it be? What do you think?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ala ashabihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. We'll definitely find many examples amongst the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who are fulfilling the requirements of being a leader, the requirements of being someone who served his nation, and so on and so forth. One of the most essential things which we have to focus upon while speaking about the companions, and we can benefit from it as well, is that every companion of the Messenger ﷺ tried his best to contribute with something that he can do successfully, professionally. Whether they were youth, young companions, or elders amongst the companions, men or women, you will find them trying to do something as their personal contribution in order to serve their nation, their faith, and so on. Take any of these companions. Take one of the young companions who was like 16 years old when the Prophet ﷺ started his mission. He started calling people towards Islam. One of the companions who was almost 16 or 17 years old, he dedicated his house as a school for the Messenger ﷺ and for his companions. It's not a big thing which he did, but it became a big thing. When he did that, when he decided to do that, to dedicate his house or his room which he used to use to live in, dedicate that place for the companions, it became a school afterwards. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed his contribution so that it becomes the first school for the Muslims in Mecca, where the Muslims are being persecuted. And this was exactly the need of the Prophet at that time. He was in need to have a location which he can meet with his companions and teach them, instruct them about Islam and convey to them the message of God. This need of the Messenger ﷺ was felt by this man. This young who was, we have many people today who are like 16, 17, 18 years. They can do many things, but they have to think, what can they... this is Darul Arqam, Al-Arqam bin Abil Arqam. This young man. In our community, when we look around us, we may find many youngsters around.
And they're skilled. They have
there are things which they're having. They have to find it out and contribute with it to the nations, to the faith, to the people, to the countries, in order that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses them and blesses their contribution and makes them a bigger contribution, which will continue bringing rewards for them till the end of time.
SubhanAllah. Sometimes it's also our responsibility as educators, as teachers, or whatnot, to identify those skills, to bring those skills out from the youth, to empower them. Again, youth and elder, sometimes there's so much skill and potential. I was recently on a project, and a lot of the members, they were part of the project. There was the feeling was of not, nothing's happening, right? But when I went in there, I've identified so much skill. It was just a matter of bringing it forth, let it shine, subhanAllah. So this is something very important. And I believe, of course, we're talking about the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, whose teacher was the Prophet ﷺ. And I think one of the things that always strikes me is the way the Prophet ﷺ used to bring out those skills, in the people, and how he used to make them feel like you are a contribution to this nation, you are a contribution, to your environment, to what you are doing, subhanAllah.
Definitely, the Prophet ﷺ was very successful in making his choices. Whenever he selects a companion for any purpose, that companion was the best choice or best person for that purpose. You may find the Prophet ﷺ selected Mus'ab bin Umayr to be the first ambassador of Islam. And subhanAllah, by Allah's mercy, he was the most successful ambassador of Islam who was chosen by the Messenger. And again, he was a young man. almost 30 years or above 30 years. Even the Prophet ﷺ, he was a young man when he became a prophet. He was only 40 years old.
Allah.
So it is the contribution of the youth, of the young Muslims, who ended up making a huge Muslim state in which they didn't only serve their own nation, but they served all those who were living around them, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. They benefited from this state which was raised by the Messenger ﷺ. This man, Mus'ab bin Umair, when he was selected to convey the message of Islam to the people of Medina, he went there leaving behind him everything which he gained, because he was from a rich family.
Right.
Many luxuries of life were there in his house, and his clothes were expensive and so on and so forth. But he decided to leave everything in order to fulfill the assignment which was given to him by the Messenger ﷺ. And subhanAllah, before the Prophet ﷺ migrates to Medina, almost every house in Islam, or every house in Medina, was ready to embrace the Prophet ﷺ and his faith. It was actually Mus'ab bin Umair who went there, and he laid the foundations for the Messenger ﷺ to come. So these are the young people who are trying their best to do a contribution which will be so bright that it will keep brightening the things, or brightening the future for the Muslim nation or generations which are going to come afterwards. The Prophet ﷺ selected many of his. He selected, for instance, the Messenger ﷺ. He would select one of the Sahabi whose name was Khalifa. This man was selected by the Messenger ﷺ, or Dihya bin Khalifa al-Kalbi, selected by the Messenger ﷺ to go and convey the message of the Messenger ﷺ to the Roman Empire. And he did that successfully. That the king of the Roman Empire started thinking positively about Islam. And he started thinking, he was convinced that Prophet Muhammad is a true messenger. And so on and so forth. Whatever he is selecting, he's finding out the skills of these people, then implementing them in the proper way, which results in these people becoming bright people for the nations.
And successful, mashallah. If we were to, let's start with some skills, for example, and try to get some examples and some stories from the Sahaba. If we start, for example, with leadership, right, which is such a valuable skill in today's society. People are always looking for leaders. If you go to apply for a job, for a project, right, people look for leadership skills. There's a lot of PDs, professional development or personal development trainings that focus on leadership skills. When we say this skill, who comes to mind? Which Sahabas and some of their stories and their qualifications?
If you think about leadership, the first one who comes into mind is Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu. There are many cities, many places which were developed by Umar bin Khattab. Many things which were initiated by Umar bin Khattab. A leader is basically a person who can initiate new things. He's not living with those means which are around him. He looks forth towards those things which are not existing. He makes them existing. This is a leader. A leader is a person who can do with the people what he's commanding them to do. If he's, for instance, saying to them that we have to do so and so project, a leader will not stay back. He will join them and do it with them, as Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu would do. Umar bin Khattab, when they opened the land of Palestine, he himself went there. Although many companions were there who were deserving to be the rulers of that land and to rule that land. However, he himself went there and he organized the place there, and he established the first Jum'ah prayer there in the place where Dawood alayhi salam used to pray, and he cleansed that place. When he came to clean, he didn't say to the companions or his Sahaba or the Sahaba of the Messenger, go clean that place, we have to pray in this place. He himself joined those people, and he cleansed that place. This is the true leader, the one who joins his people
in the work,
and the one who is having ambitions. He's not staying back. He's not limited by anything. There are no limits before him. See, for instance, Umar bin Khattab radwanullahi alayhi, in his time, there was a time which is called as Amul Ramada.
Yes.
In the Amul Ramada, people were not having food to eat. And he himself, Umar bin Khattab, was not having sufficient food to eat. And his stomach was making noise. And he would say to his stomach, address his stomach and say, you will never be fed unless every single child of the Muslim community is fed. This is a true leader. He's not there to relax. He's joining his people. Such a person is valued by the people and valued by history as well.
Subhanallah. Umar Khattab is always the figure, mashallah, that when leadership is invoked, and his name comes up, subhanallah. Any other companion? I would say Umar was definitely, I think, even non-Muslims, when they know about Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu. I remember very well that there was a Christian man who came and asked me. He saw me reading a book on Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu, and he said, I've heard so much about him, like, can I please have this book? And I said, he wanted to buy us to have it, as a gift. And he was so happy. He's like, I've heard so much about him. I just need to, to study his life. So even non-Muslims, they know about Umar Khattab. Who will be someone else who exemplified leadership from the Sahaba?
Beside Umar Khattab, there would be many. Actually, the companions of the Prophet, especially the Khulafa al-Rashideen, they led the people. They led the people in times after the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even if you take Abu Bakr, for instance. SubhanAllah, Abu Bakr was so successful when he became a leader. People were thinking that he's weak. So much so that even Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to say to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that, "Oh Messenger, assign someone else than Abu Bakr to lead the prayer. Because Abu Bakr is asif, means he's a lenient man. If he comes to pray, he may weep. So it's not good to lead the prayer." But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam insisted he should lead the prayer.
Allah.
And he led the prayer. It is because his loyalty for his issue, for the things in which he believes, his faithfulness, his sincerity for the things in which he's having a faith or conviction. This is one of the essential things. That when you are planning for something, you have a project, how strong is your faith in that project? How strongly you believe in that thing? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was having a unique project in his life, and that is to compile the Quran.
Allah.
To put the chapters of the Quran together.
Allah.
And all the other companions were not convinced too much with this project. This is a newly thing which they never witnessed. New things are good things in many occasions, but we need a good leader who will make them good things, who will make them look good. They said to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't do this. Quran was preserved, it was with the companions, all the chapters. Now he wants to put them in one book together. But because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't do, people didn't want to do. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu insisted. Now insisting is not sufficient. You should have a plan.
Right.
Abu Bakr made a plan for it. He brought those people who were close to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who heard the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam reciting the Quran, especially at the end of his life, like Zayd bin Thabit. Especially Zayd bin Thabit. This man was with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made his last revision of Quran with Jibreel alayhi salam. So he selected this man. So a leader is a person who knows who are around him.
He knows that picks the right people to advise him.
He knows the skills of these people. He selected. Why didn't he select, let's say for instance, Abdullah bin Abbas? He was a learned man.
Right.
Why didn't he select Umar bin Khattab? Because he's for something else.
Right. SubhanAllah.
So he selected Zayd bin Thabit. This man was selected, and this man again, he was given a methodology.
Right.
Any person who comes to you that this is a surah from the Quran, you have to ask him to find out 2 witnesses.
Allah.
Although they are all Sahaba, or reliable people.
Yes.
There's no one who's not reliable amongst them.
And many of them who have memorized the Quran.
In fact, every one of them memorized in the life of the Prophet ﷺ.
So they could have just written, but it was a system to show the strength.
That's the thing. You have to have a system. How can you reach to a qualification, or can you reach to a target when you don't have a proper theme in front of you, you don't have a proper plan in front of you?
Yes. Subhanallah.
So the plan was that you will accept from the people, you know the surahs. Actually, he knows all the surahs. He revised the Quran with the Prophet ﷺ. Now, he don't want to make it one-man show. Again, this is leadership, that you should not make the things one-man show. Even if it's a good thing, people will not accept it.
Yes.
Because it's coming only from you. You are not including others.
You have to grab people to help you and to feel like they themselves, subhanAllah, are like participating in the project.
Participation is the word. That everybody should be given the opportunity to participate in the project which you are doing. So that it's having some strength in the hearts of those people.
Yes.
They value it.
They value it, subhanAllah. We're going to take a little break right now, inshallah, and we're going to come back talking about the skills and identifying a Sahaba. That's mashallah, and examples and stories. Again, if you have one of these stars that you want to share with us, one of these skills that are so important, please do call us. The number is on the screen. We'll be right back after this short break.
Trying to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, he says.
TV commercial. commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV. Acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قالوا أجئتنا لتأفكنا عن آلهتنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين. له ملك السماوات والأرض وإلى الله ترجع الأمور.
فلما رأوه عارضا مستقبل أوديتهم قالوا هذا عارض ممطرنا بل هو ما استعجلتم به.
أخا عاد إذ أنذر قومه بالأحقاف وقد خلت النذر من بين يديه ومن خلفه ألا تعبدوا إلا الله إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم.
فيهما عينان نضاختان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. فيهما فاكهة ونخل ورمان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
بلى فهل يهلك إلا القوم الفاسقون.
Sent from Allah to an angel then to man. That man was Muhammad, the best of creation.
A time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, he says.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. A time to please Allah. And we just took a break. Alhamdulillah. Before that, we were talking, and we are talking about the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ, and specifically identifying the right Sahaba with certain skills that are important in the 21st century, certain skills that would, lead towards success, towards a community, an individual, to really contribute to society, to the ummah, and so on, to his country. So we talked about leadership. We gave the example of Umar Khattab radiallahu anh, which is the undisputed champion of leadership, mashallah. And then we talked about Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, and we talked about how they laid down their projects, how they moved forward, with their plans and so on. Let us identify, bidnillah, another skill now, and that is the skill of bravery, being brave. Because that's very important. Taking risk and being brave, not being scared, is a very important skill in this life. Starting from management, right? A leader should take risks. Obviously, educated, calculated risks. But this is such an important skill, not to be scared, to be brave. So if we talk about bravery, obviously there's so many, but who would come to mind? Which of the Sahaba and what story can we relate?
If you speak about bravery of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, a bravery which you can say elevates them to the level of leadership, I think we should speak about Ali radiallahu anhu. He's one of the most brave companions of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In many occasions, in many circumstances, from his childhood, Ali radiallahu anhu accepted Islam when he was 7 years old.
Allahu Akbar.
Now imagine a child who's 7 years old, who's living in a family who are non-Muslims, he's having such a courage to make a decision for himself
Allah Akbar.
that he's going to change his faith and he's going to join a new faith.
Allah Akbar.
This man did this.
Allah Akbar.
There are many people today, there are many people who cannot make this decision. They are convinced with faith, with, let's say with Islam for instance,
Yes.
but they cannot declare it.
Allah.
There are many people who are not, like Najashi. He was
Yes.
a big man, he was the king of his people.
Yes.
Yet he didn't have the courage to declare it. Although he was a Muslim, he
Yes.
was may Allah have mercy on him,
Yes.
may Allah bless him. But Ali was different.
Yes.
Ali in his childhood declared, and when he became old for himself, when the Prophet ﷺ was about to migrate
Allah Akbar.
from his city towards Medina,
No.
a distance of 500 kilometers
Yes.
was made by the Messenger ﷺ. Before his migration, he left the trusts with Ali radiallahu anhu in his room, while the room was surrounded by the assassins who want to attack the room and kill the person who's inside. Yet Ali radiallahu anhu was relaxing inside, he was sleeping inside. In fact.
Allah.
He slept that night inside. Now imagine who can sleep in a circumstance where people are there to kill him. Who can do so?
No, subhanallah.
No one can do so except a person who's brave enough, who's courageous enough, who's not terrified, or who can take risk. This is a person who can take risk. He took the risk and he faced these circumstances, and he took the trusts of the Messenger ﷺ after living this night, entire night in the room of the Messenger ﷺ, in the circumstances, terrifying circumstances. After that night he went out and he distributed those trusts to those who deserve them, as the Prophet ﷺ assigned it to them.
Allah.
So we can say that Ali radiallahu anhu is amongst those companions, along with Umar and Abu Bakr and Uthman and Talha and others, who took part, bravely.
And one of them that
Yeah.
usually comes to mind also is Khalid bin Walid. Subhanallah, if anyone thinks of a brave, leader, mashallah, Khalid bin Walid was the, the figure of the Muslims who led so many, mashallah, battles for the Muslim Ummah, and his bravery was always standing out, as with no fear type of person, that he would engage anyone and anything, subhanallah. Hence his name, his title.
Definitely, Khalid bin Walid is considered to be Sayfullah,
Yes.
the sword of Almighty Allah. He
Allah.
says about himself that I fought almost 90 battles in Islam and before Islam, and he says that, but none of these battles, in none of these battles I lost.
Allah Akbar.
And he says that I tried my best to get my martyrdom,
Allah.
but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala denied
Denied,
to
Allah.
give me
Yeah.
that martyrdom which I was wishing for. And he said before his death that today, after all these battles, not a single part of my body is free from scratches and from strikes. Yet I am today dying on my bed as
Allah.
a camel dies in its place. Yeah.
And I believe one of his close friends replied to him that, how can Allah ever allow the sword of Allah to fall, subhanallah. Allah.
So these are the companions of the Messenger ﷺ, whom we can use or pick any of them and find many virtues in them, many skills in them, which can definitely inspire every single believer. People who were praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and selected for His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, especially the early companions about whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم وأرضاهم. And the early believers from amongst the Muhajirin and the Ansar, رضي الله عنهم وأرضاهم, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a point here when they are pleased with, what does that mean when they are pleased with Allah? They are pleased with whatever is decreed for them by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And this is another very important skill that we can highlight here, is being pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the issue of contentment. The issue of someone being content, which is such an important skill that even today psychologists identify that for a person to really be successful in his life, it doesn't necessarily request certain resources, money. However, it requests someone to really be satisfied with the condition or the situation that he is in, and that self, which is something it is a skill. It's something very difficult that someone needs to train themselves through a lot of thought, obviously, and that's what requires someone, the tadabbur and tafakkur in his life, in the qada wal qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to say that, look, يعني رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا, you know, and I'm pleased, you know, with Allah as my Lord and Islam as my deen, and whatever subhanallah and Allah subhanahu has decreed, you find that inside of you, you are pleased. Because if you are not, if you have that negative mentality that, why me, look at this life, always looking left and right at different people, how they were given different things, right? You paralyze yourself. You cannot move to actually complete your goals in life and to even improve. Let's say you're in a status of let's say, you know, not according to human standards, that you're not doing so well, whatever, you know, that means. But how can you move forward if you pity yourself every single day? And this is such an important skill.
Yeah, definitely. A person who thinks in that fashion, that he always underestimates whatever he's having, is a person who will not even enjoy what he's having. A person who always underestimates what he's having, this person will never enjoy in his life. Right. Even if he's having lots of good things, because he underestimates these things, he's still looking elsewhere towards other people. He will never enjoy these things which are with him. Maybe he's having a good son, let's say, for instance, or a good wife, let's say, or a good vehicle, let's say, but he will never enjoy these things because he's not satisfied. He never pondered on these good things. He's always looking outside for those things which are not within his parameters.
No.
You know, in the Quran, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alhaakum at-takathur, that competition in the worldly stuff is taking you away, is paving you away from the path. It's making you always busy, in easy words. It's keeping you busy. The competition in worldly things is keeping you busy. Now, the person who's busy in competition, in competing others in the worldly stuff, he will hardly have some time to enjoy the things which he made. This is what's happening. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Hatta zurtum al-maqabir, until you reach your grave, you are still trying to gain more, and you have no time to use these things which you already gained.
Allah.
That's why the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dua, he says, Allahumma inni as'aluka ar-rida ba'da al-qada.
Allahu Akbar.
That, O Almighty, give me satisfaction after you decree for me. It's when you decree something for me, bless me with satisfaction, that I'm satisfied with that thing. And this is one of the essential things needed for a person who is leading a people. You did your best, for instance. You use the skills. Your people who are under you, they work their best and they use their skill to the maximum, and this was the result. You can go for the better results, no problem, but celebrate this result. Be satisfied with this thing. Do not curse the people who are around you. Allah. Do not underestimate. Do not break the hearts of those people.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, that is such an amazing statement. Let us move to another skill, and that is that of business transactions. Right? Of course, today it's such an important skill in I would say, international market. Right? We live in a global market, a global village. Business skills are very important. Tijara. Right? People look at that in terms of which one of the companions would come to mind when it comes to business skills. Someone who could really, move things around and really earn and get things done.
Surely, definitely, they amongst the companions, Radwanullahi alayhim, there are many who are having good businesses. Amongst these people, we have one of them who's called as Abdul Rahman bin Auf. Abdul Rahman bin Auf was one of the good business people who were praised by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, those who are around him would say that if Abdul Rahman bin Auf will touch dust, it will turn into gold, because his skills
so
in business thing. When he came to Medina first, after Abdul Rahman bin Auf is amongst the early believers. He's among the 10 people who are promised Jannah by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when he came to Medina first, he used his skills. He came empty-handed, nothing with him. A businessman coming with nothing, scratch. He started from scratch in Medina. So one of the companions said to him that, I'm ready to divide half of my wealth with you, so that you can start your new life here in Medina. He said, no. Barakallahu laka fi malika wa ahlik. Keep your things with you. May Allah bless your things for you.
Allah.
But show me the way towards the market.
Allahu Akbar.
So he went to the market and he worked for some people there. And after some time he was able to establish his own business. And what did he do with his own business? Ibn al-Jawzi in his book Sifat al-Safwa, he says that he was having 1,000 workers working for him after a period of time.
From zero.
Yeah, from zero.
Subhanallah.
The most when he was asked that, how is your business developing? He said, sidq, truthfulness. I never lie to the people. Yeah, truthfulness brings me 1 dirham. I'm pleased with that.
Allahu Akbar.
So he's truthful.
Sidq.
He's truthful, brought him all this good business.
Allahu Akbar.
Today, this is what we need today for the business people.
And that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
In the end, when anyone says businessman, usually it's equal to cheating, lying, and so on, stabbing anyone, and that the ends justify the means. And you do whatever it takes to become number one. And we see it, subhanAllah, we see it in the business system, that a lot of that, even though there's business ethics that are taught and so on, but in the end of the day, subhanAllah, a lot of that goes around. And what a beautiful statement by Abdurrahman ibn Auf, to be truthful. And that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it goes back to tawakkul, relying upon Allah. That look, yes, I might be able to poke here and there, cut some corners here, make an extra 1, 2, 3 dirhams or dinars, but in the end, there will be no barakah in that.
Definitely.
And then, subhanAllah, in the end, risk is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's decreed,
The Prophet ﷺ says something very important upon which all the business people should ponder. He says, البيعان بالخيار ما لم يتفرقا فإن صدقا وبينا بورك لهما وإن كذبا وكتما محقت بركة بيعهما. The meaning of the hadith in easy words is that the people who make transactions are having options whether to continue or discontinue, whether to make it or leave it. Then he says that, but if they continue with truthfulness and clarity, Allah will bless the transaction for them. And if they lie and hide, hiding is something else than lie. People sometimes they hide some facts and they say we are not lying, but they're hiding.
They're hiding.
The Messenger says, if they lie or hide, Allah will seize the transaction upon them. So this is a clear information being transmitted to us by the Messenger that there are 2 types of transactions: a transaction which is blessed, and a transaction which is seized by Allah, which is cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one which you are truthful and you are mentioning everything. Our scholars of fiqh, Islamic fiqh, they say there's bay'u tadlis.
Tadlis, yeah.
A transaction which they tadlis. Tadlis means hiding.
Hiding, covering.
You hide something, you cover some part of your business, of your product, and you don't show it to the others. And when they buy it, when they go back home, they discover that there's a defect in that. So this transaction is not blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam al-Bukhari, for instance, see the faithfulness of this person. He was having a product to sell, and there were people who came to him to buy it for 5,000 dirhams from him. Imam al-Dhahabi narrates this story, and he says Imam Bukhari didn't give them an answer, give them an answer. He didn't reply. He said, I need some time to think about the issue. But in his heart, he was convinced that next day, inshallah, I'll sell this thing to these people. The same moment, another people came to him, and they said, we want to buy this for the double amount which the first group gave you. And he said, no, because I made an intention to sell it to the first group. So he didn't do it. The man doesn't want to violate his intention because he feels that I will be lying with Allah, that Allah knows that I made an intention. I don't want to be, have double words in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one of the essential things, that a business person should be truthful. In one of the hadith, the Messenger ﷺ says, يُبْعَثُ التُّجَّارُ فُجَّارًا يوم القيامة. The tujjar will be raised as fujjar. Fujjar means like sinners, evildoers. So the tujjar will be raised as fujjar in the day of judgment. This is because of the evil which they do, because they break their oath, for instance.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from such things like that. We're going to take a little break again, inshallah, and we will be right back talking about these amazing skills and coming up with the examples. Sahabas, it's amazing. Show alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. We'll be right back.
Trying to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, he says.
Huda TV is pleased to announce the launching of its first mobile phone application on all iOS and Android-based devices. Browse your phone store for our new app under the name of Huda TV. Huda app delivers a bunch of amazing and versatile services to our fans and viewers worldwide. You can watch our live streaming on the move, surf our large archive of categorized articles, benefit from our daily supplications Askar that every Muslim should recite throughout the day. Just tap on any item of the Askar list and it will take you to the specific supplication it indicates to. Need to know the broadcast time of your favorite program? Just click to broadcast schedule for specific details. Huda app allows users to browse the gems of Huda TV website where they can enjoy our telemedia services by watching thousands of video clips, plenty of audio clips featuring invocations, nasheeds, and audio themes of our favorite programs. Go back to the index page and check upon what is going on at Huda TV by visiting ever-updated Huda News. Get to know the profiles of Huda stars and never forget to tap on our behind the scenes button for exploring our backstage activities. It's also worthy to check upon Huda's pages on social media websites and enjoy our awesome posts and sharing. Download Huda TV's app now and live our world of authentic Islamically themed educational knowledge. Huda TV brings light to every smartphone.
Allah, so let me stray. Please guide my way.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk on your favorite channel, Huda TV. I'm your host, Arkham Rashid. They actually did such and such that you're accusing him of in your mind. So now I want to start off with my right hand side, Brother Ahmed. If you can just tell us what your thoughts were on that video, what can you extract from that video? Would you say some of the youth turn to drugs, especially in your country, if they don't have jobs, or it's because they want to get away from their daily normal lives? Would you say that's a reason?
Absolutely, that's true. Some people just resort to drug as the last option because they get themselves straight out and instead of depression, but they don't know where to turn for help.
Sports per se is like a communal social activity, whereas it collects the community together and it bonds brotherhoods together. It's very social in its aspect where you interact with your teammates or your players in a team.
So I think a message would be just to stay completely away from it. Even we can say, oh look, it's haram.
As Almighty Allah, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name. A time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward, I will spend on you, he said.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back. This is after our second break, and we are discussing, if you're just joining us, the skills that are required to be a successful person in the 21st century, and we are taking examples of the skills, mashallah, from the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ. We were talking about business, and I want to bring out here, because we kind of, we named at least a few men now, but when it comes to business, right away it popped into my mind the Khadija radiallahu anha, who is a businesswoman. Can we give a few stories about the Khadija radiallahu anha?
Khadija radiallahu anha was not only a businesswoman, besides being a businesswoman, she was a reputed woman in her community.
Allah Akbar.
That the historians say that the men in the city were always interested
to marry her.
So this shows that she was reputed.
Yes, reputed.
And she was from a good family as well. And she used to always assign men to make a business for her. Now this is again a woman who's maintaining her hijab,
Allah Akbar,
her modesty, and staying in her place.
Yet still being very successful.
Being blessed, It's
Allah
not necessary for a woman to, abandon her traditions, her culture,
her duties
her faith,
as a
her
wife,
religion, her duties, in order to be successful in the business field or so on.
Allah Akbar.
Khadija is a good example for us. She was a woman who served Islam in the first place.
Allah.
She's the first person who calmed the Messenger ﷺ by saying to him that Kalla wallahi lan yukhziyaka Allahu abada. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never disappoint you.
Allah.
Innaka la tahmilul kal. You carry the burden of the people. So you are a good man. Wa tuqri dayf. You are good with your guests, you are kind with them, you are generous with them. Wa tuksibul ma'dum. You earn for those who cannot earn. You do this, O Muhammad. So how can you expect that Almighty Allah will disappoint you? Do not be disappointed. She calmed the Messenger ﷺ. So she's having these family skills with her.
Yes.
Besides this, she was also a successful woman. When the Messenger ﷺ used to go to make a business for her using the goods which she is having, what the Messenger ﷺ will do is that he will make a quick sale for the goods which Khadija radiallahu anha is sending with the Messenger ﷺ. Because this was the methodology of Khadija radiallahu anha. She'll not wait for a huge profit. Make a quick sale, whether it's a small profit or a huge profit, and come back quickly. This is what the Prophet ﷺ used to do for her, using the concept of mudaraba. That product is from your side and the effort is from my side. And if we make a benefit, if we make a profit, the profit will be divided between us, whether 30, 40, any percent which is decided, and so on and so forth. This is mudaraba. So they used to make a transaction between the Messenger ﷺ and between Khadija radiallahu anha based on mudaraba, and it was a successful thing. A business which didn't only help Khadija, it also helped Islam to be established and run forward.
A very important thing here is that comes out, another skill that is very, very important, be it in leadership, business, whatever it is, and that is mutual trust. That, you know, if you don't trust someone and they don't trust you, right, it's very hard to achieve something in your life, whatever level it might be. But this issue of mutual trust, you know, Khadija radiallahu anha trusted the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know what I mean? And he trust is just something so important, and such an important skill, yani, for someone to, you know, to it's a risk at the same time, but it's an assessment of a person, you know, looking at their skills and say, okay, I have to trust this person, I can trust this person.
Definitely. Khadija radiallahu anha used to use her friends to find out the information about the people who will work for her.
Allahu Akbar.
And she was also having servants, slave servants, like Maysara, for instance. He also used to research for Khadija, this is a good man, this person does so and so. Maysara, when he came back from a journey, being with the Prophet ﷺ, making some business transactions and coming back to Mecca, he was the man who informed Khadija about the blessings of the Prophet ﷺ, how blessed this man is, and how special this man is, what are those special things which are found in the Prophet ﷺ, which he himself witnessed in the Prophet ﷺ. By the way, the Messenger ﷺ was from Quraysh. And the men in Quraysh, they're not too much into any other thing except business.
Yes.
They're not too much into, let's say, farming, for instance, growing plants or other stuff. Ibrahim alayhi salam says, Inni askantu min dhurriyati biwadin ghayri dhi zara. That I'm leaving my children in a place where there is no plantation, no planting, no plants are there. So it's a place where they cannot grow any plant. So what they can do is to make business. The Prophet ﷺ was going in business with Abu Talib, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ. He used to go with him, even when he was 11 or 12 years old. He left once with Abu Talib and they met Rahib. In these, journeys, he used to learn from his uncle and from other people in Mecca how to make business, and he was successful in that. The Messenger ﷺ would say that 90% of your rizq is in your business. People in the past used to make men and women. They used to make business to survive, to live, because working for others makes you what? Make you, fully designated for a people, and you stop thinking about your own or using your own skills or thinking about benefit, and you always stay in the terror, in the fear. You don't know when this person is going to fire you.
Yes, exactly.
So people used to hate being in this situation. They used to make their own. Then we found our own teachers saying that to have a business is better than working for other people, because you always stay in a fear in that situation.
Subhanallah. Allah, what a beautiful skill. We have about 2 minutes, inshallah, just to wrap it out. What an amazing show, very practical show, and this is something that I think we can all take some of these skills, some of these examples, and try to use them as qudwa for us, something to to live our life by. Even if it's a few skills, just to to inspire us to look into the lives of some of these Sahaba and to try to find out more about some of these skills. And I guess we can leave it at this, but to summarize and to go back, can these skills be learned? Because someone can say, well, mashallah, they had great skills, they had amazing talent. But can these skills be learned, or is it something that people are born with, or how,
Yeah, our Muslim philosophers basically, or let's say Muslim scholars of Aqidah, they almost unanimously believe that skills and morals could be developed.
Allahu Akbar.
Could be gained. And if it was not possible for a person to develop skills or to change his morals, to change his personality, then Almighty Allah will never send messengers, because people cannot change.
Sahih.
He will never send. He will never send down Quran, because people can never change. It is because people can change. Everything, every skill in them can grow. Every good skill in them can grow. And people are, by the way, are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with many good skills in them.
Yes.
It is the duty of the mentors to find out those skills and to raise it for them, as the Messenger ﷺ would do for his people.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What a Jazakumullah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you and bless you, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to develop some of these skills. Of course, it requires practice, it requires time, it requires, sometimes there'll be mistakes made along the way. But as long as we said, we started, that the plan is clear and we try to move towards these goals, we put a few skills that we want to achieve, inshallah, this can, help us to at least move towards doors. And if we fall short of greatness, it's still something amazing, Bi'idhnillah. Jazakumullah khair for watching. Again, we remind you that you can follow us on Facebook, A Time to Please Allah. You can check our past shows on YouTube. And inshallah, bi'idhnillah, we'll see you next Thursday with another great show, another great topic. And we await your recommendations. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Trying to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, he says, on who's spending good cause. Good deeds are opportunities, sparkling bright and true, raising you in the sight of Allah, and adorning al-Jannah for you. So rush to earn his reward. Don't forget the prayer.